If government wants its policies to be effective, we should actually consider not clubbing the nano businesses with MSMEs. Yeah, today we are going to discuss this topic. Hi everyone, welcome back to Equipoise Classes. I am Surbhi Gupta, and in these videos, what we do is we pick up an article from the newspaper, we read it directly from the newspaper, we understand what the topic is behind that article, what the article is trying to convey, and at the same time, we understand how to read a newspaper with the perspective of an examination, what to pick up from that article and what to leave, like not to take everything, what to understand and how to implement it while writing answers in our exam. So yeah, this is all we are going to do today. So I'll quickly share the screen and yeah, let's just begin with the article. I normally refer to Mint newspaper just for your information that I pick up this newspaper Mint, and you can go on reading article and search. And if you want this newspaper, the description has the link of the Telegram group. You can join the Telegram group. Let me know that you want this day's newspaper, and I'll send you the PDF of the newspaper in that group. Only for the day you've asked for. I don't send it daily. Why? Because I may also get copyrighted things, so I don't want to do that. But I can share any day one or two newspapers if you want, not otherwise. Okay, so that is why you won't find the PDF of the newspapers, but if you ask for the PDF, I'll definitely give it to you. Okay, let's start from the thing. What is written: don't club nano businesses with other MSMEs for policy efforts. When I read it as a student, so I normally read an article twice, as a teacher and then as a student. So when I read it as a student, the first question as a student in my mind was, what is nano business? Correct. So nano entrepreneurs in India. Who is a nano entrepreneur? Let's first read it. Nano entrepreneurs are people who typically run small retail or kirana shops, are micro wholesalers, or earn a livelihood as street vendors. They have not had benefit of receiving a college education, which prevents them from attaining formal means of employment. They live in rented homes and earn less than INR 25,000 a month. Many may have been shouldering debt even before pandemic, making it even more dire for those who have faced a health or a debt crisis during pandemic. Nano entrepreneurs face different challenges than their small and medium enterprises counterparts. However, nano entrepreneurs frequently get grouped with small and medium enterprises. For nano entrepreneurs, there is rarely a distinction between their personal and business incomes. And unlike MSMEs, they have no collateral for loans and negligible insurance coverage, have no access to resources to help them scale, lack of any specific skills or formal training, have little to no access to markets to help grow their businesses. In short, they are one nudge away from being pushed into poverty. Okay, there rarely is any focus on micro enterprises, which includes the nano cohort. This has been evident during the pandemic as these enterprises were caught in the middle with limited knowledge of or access to formal credit or government loans and relief funds. Okay, so I think that much is enough. In a typical language, मालिक भी मैं हूँ, चालक भी मैं हूँ. अगर ऐसा है और ये सारे सिनेरियो हैं जो अभी हमने पढ़े, तो ये नैनो बिजनेस है. So nano businesses are normally clubbed with MSMEs when there's a huge distinction, and because they are clubbed, so they don't get policy benefits or the policy efforts get wasted in a way, which is what we are trying to discuss in today's article. Okay, tiny enterprises face distinct challenges, and addressing them separately would serve India well. Because if something is being clubbed with big groups, so big groups are getting benefits, they have collateral, but nano businesses, which actually form a huge component, are not getting the benefit that they deserve, which is why India is not, actually getting the true benefit of the policies that we are making, because the problem is not in the policy making, the problem is in implementing and identifying the true user case of that policy, the true potential user case. We are not able to identify, so the benefits are taken over by the big sharks, and that's why the people who actually deserve the thing, they don't get it. So that's the issue. Okay, let's read the article. First of all, crediting the people who have written this. So two of them have written this: Srinath Sridharan and Nirupama Saundara Rajan. Okay, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I'm so sorry if I did it wrong. Okay, are respectively a policy researcher and corporate advisor, and a partner policy consensus center. Let's read the article. Are we looking at Indian micro, small and medium enterprises, which is MSME sector, through the wrong lens? So we are actually looking it through the wrong lens. Okay, according to government data, there were over 63 million MSMEs in 2015. 63 million MSMEs, out of which 60 million were micro enterprises. Of these micro enterprises, though, how many would be nano businesses? So what is the full form? Micro, small, medium enterprises. In micro, a huge component is nano businesses, right? The annual survey of unincorporated sector enterprises for 2023 offers a contemporary indication. It puts a total number of unincorporated enterprises, 65 million unincorporated enterprises, of which 55.3 million are own account enterprises and 9.7 million are hired worker enterprises. The survey data indicates that 95% of Indian MSMEs are not incorporated. 95% of Indian MSMEs are not incorporated. The term business means something very different to this cohort. And so improving their case, though their ease of doing business demands a dedicated approach. How will you improve their ease of doing business when you don't know that business means different from for them as opposed to us? Okay, unfortunately, policy bias and misconceptions seem to have resulted in this large group of entrepreneurs going unserved, underserved, perhaps even ignored. 95% are incorporated, guys, and they are getting ignored. They're not getting the benefits. Okay, so what characterizes nano businesses? According to ASUSC survey, unincorporated enterprises are mostly sole proprietorships operating from their homes or from temporary workplaces. They work long hours and have marginal access to credit. They don't get loan because they don't have either they don't have the access or they only have marginal access. Only 6.4% have audited accounts, but a little over 36% have registered themselves under some authority or act. 7% have contributed to manufacturing. 7% have contributed to manufacturing and other services through contractual work. They employ as many as 110 million people, and their outstanding loans average around rupees 50,000. Nano businesses represent a large chunk of India's employment base. They each employ an average of 1.2 to 2 people. So nano businesses employ either 1 or 2 people on an average. Where they are owners also, worker also. They are single man army. They are largely informal, using cash transaction primarily, and are generally not registered on goods and services tax portal. They are not registered. Okay, they deal in cash. Scant. What is this? Hold on. Fine. Scant data has kept policymakers back from studying because data is scanty. Data is not correctly available, which has kept away policymakers from studying the challenges that hinder their livelihoods and make it difficult for them to scale up. Consider the local street chaat seller. Local street chaat seller, weekend you go on chaat, you eating chaat. So local street chaat seller or vegetable vendor outside a suburban railway station. They are entrepreneurs, guys. They are businessmen. They are entrepreneurs. They work hard, probably harder than many of us. They have no holidays, no Sundays, no leaves, no festivities, no their working hours are even longer, right? To earn that harder, they probably work harder just to make that honest living. Unfortunately, not only do we lack data on them, but also we barely recognize them as separate category business. We don't seem to take them as business owner. Okay, how many of you would go to a chart person who would want bhaiya chart de do, paise diye khatam? Do you realize in your head, or do you go with that thing in your mind that, oh, I'm talking to a businessman? Compared to if you enter into a big firm, big four company, then how would you go talking about the owner of that particular company? Then you would be like, oh, this is the owner. Oh, they are also owner. Yeah? They are different category altogether. We fail to recognize them as different separate category. That's the problem. So once we start recognizing them as a separate business entity, we gradually will have data on them. We don't have any data because we don't recognize them as, a separate category business. Okay, so nano businesses should not be clubbed with MSMEs in this broad category because they have very different needs and challenges. Many studies have examined MSMEs, but none of could be find specifically analyze nano entrepreneurs. Many studies are there. If you Google, many studies are there for MSMEs, but none of them could, actually specifically analyze on nano businesses or nano entrepreneurs. So over a sustained period to track changes in their business performance over loan cycles. Estimates suggest that nano entrepreneur credit could add up to a sum as large as 3.25 trillion, making it the biggest potential credit segment within the larger MSME category, with demand estimated to be growing at compounded rate of over 35% annually. Okay. However, so demand is increasing. Demand of credit is increasing for nano enterprises, which makes it huge category of MSMEs. But supply, what about the supply? The supply of finance has not kept pace. Only a fraction have access to loans through formal sources, while vast majority bootstrap their businesses. They bootstrap, they earn. A chart seller, what would he do? He would earn, he would go keeping a chart stall for 1 year, he'll earn ample amount. And then what he'll do is he'll probably save that money and invest that money into his business only and may open a small shop later on. So that is bootstrap. Bootstrapping is you're earning profit and you're investing it back in your money. You're not, taking money from outside or, taking loan or taking money or taking those rounds like physics wala is doing, generating money through different rounds and listing your company or nothing of that sort. They bootstrap their income or they bootstrap their businesses through their savings or rely on financial support from family and friends, or either they take family and friend support because they don't have access to the formal credit sources. So the supply, even though the demand is huge for credit, they need money, but the supply is not at pace. Okay, operating in informal economy, most of these nano entrepreneurs work with minimal paperwork, thin margins, and even thinner hopes. Some of them depend on for earnings on larger enterprises with which they have little to no bargaining power. As they do not maintain proper financial records, lenders find it challenging to access their credit worthiness. Because see, lenders would also want to see the credit worthiness. That's if you are a correct person whom we can give credit, and if you'll pay back the credit, because they don't want you to disappear on them and not pay back their loans. So they see your credit worthiness because you don't maintain the paperwork and you're not registered on the GST portal as well. It's difficult to assess your credit worthiness. Their inability to provide collateral for loans, they cannot कुछ उधार नहीं रख सकते, mortgage पे नहीं रख सकते, collateral नहीं रख सकते, कुछ दे नहीं सकते बदले में. So their inability to provide collaterals for loans also act as major obstacle. All this is compounded by inadequate financial. So all this is compounded. First of all, these are the issues. And then these issues aggravate because they don't have any financial knowledge. They don't know whom to approach, how to approach, what to do. They don't have of that sort. The new account aggregator network plus the expected rollout of unified lending interface. Let's say we have unified payment interface, which has made payments very easy. This is how we are expecting a rollout of unified lending interface where lending will become easy. Okay, which will collate data from various sources to allow assessment of creditworthiness, could conceivably be of help. Once you're collating the data from different sources on unified lending interface, and then the creditworthiness of a person, then it becomes easier to give them credit, to supply them credit, because they're already demanding. So the demand is actually increasing, but the supply is not. The supply is still stuck here. The supply should increase, but the supply is not increasing. Okay, which is why we need to increase the supply. So we need to focus on the credit worthiness. Okay, so unified lending interface could be of help. But need of the hour is for government to classify nano businesses as separate group for policy attention. We should not focus on policy attention only for MSMEs. We should focus on nano businesses separately, because they constitute a major proportion and most of them are unincorporated. So we should focus on them as a separate identity. Okay, we need a comprehensive cross-ministerial approach to nano businesses with efforts ranging from financial inclusion. So we should have efforts of including them financially. Financial inclusion should be there, and at the same time, skill development. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Hold on. Yeah, so financial inclusion should be there, and at the same time, skill development should be there, technology adoption, the regulations or the regulatory simplification should be there. So, if the Ministry of MSME and Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade under the Commerce Ministry cannot coordinate such an agenda, then maybe it is time to create a separate ministry altogether. So they're saying that the Ministry of MSME, if they cannot do it separately, so either you create a separate ministry only, because see, nano. So if imagine these are the learned people who are writing this article, if they can go to this extent that they are suggesting to create a separate ministry altogether, so you can actually assess the importance of nano businesses, the weightage that nano businesses hold in MSME sector. But because we are focusing on MSME as a whole, micro, small, and medium, we are concerned with small and medium so much that we are forgetting that the major proportion of MSME is constituted by nano businesses, which actually make a huge component, and they're not getting the separate policy attention that they should get. So we should focus on them. And if the MSME ministry cannot do it alone, they should focus on creating another ministry. That's their end thing. Like, it's too much, but we should. So the thing is, the focus or the center of attraction here is that we should actually focus on nano businesses. Okay, and we should actually focus on them separately as a separate entity, and then we should make policies separately for nano businesses, and then MSMEs other than nano businesses, because nano businesses is altogether a different category. We should treat it as different category even when we are making policies and implementing. Okay, so that was the entire article all about. I really hope you liked it, and you know what to do. If you found it useful, like, share, and guys, consider subscribing. Just tiny, not even 10 seconds, hit that red button, hit the button where it's written subscribe, and just subscribe to the channel. Okay, get notified every time when I upload a new video. I keep on uploading so many things these days on this channel, and trust me, many more interesting things are on your way. Just wait for it. So subscribe करोगे तभी पता चलेगा, ठीक है? So yeah, with that, I'll just wrap up this video. We are ending this on a very good note. So stay happy, stay healthy, and keep smiling, guys. Spread smiles, spread positivity, no matter what situation you're facing in your life right now. Everybody has issues, but still deal with it, smiling in a smiling way, with a smiling face, with that aura of positivity, so that every challenge go away and burst away. Yeah. So on this very happy and positive note, I'll see you tomorrow. Till then, take care and